All right, guys, we are moving forward with practice test question number 5. It says, an inequality is shown. What is the solution set for x? So when we look at this question, we have negative 3x plus 7 is greater than or equal to negative x minus 5. And when we looked at this in class, we said that this is like algebra's greatest hits. What do? We want to solve for x. Solve for x. And then how do we do that? We combine like terms. So over here, what are our like terms that we can put together, right? We got this has an x and this has an x. So to combine it, I want to get all of my x's over to one side. So I'm going to add x to each side. And what's my invisible number with this x? We got an invisible 1 going on, so I'm going to add that too. Negative 3 plus 1, you can check it on the calculator, but that's negative 2x. I'm going to bring down my plus 7, bring down my sign, and bring down the negative 5. This canceled to 0. My next like terms, what's like the 7? The 5, because neither of them have a variable. It's just numbers. So to cancel it out, I want to subtract the 7 on both sides of my inequality. That gives me negative 2x. This cancels to 0, is greater than or equal to negative 5 minus 7. You can check it on the calculator, but that's negative 12. And the next step, to get our x only by itself, now that we've combined like terms, we're ready to finish solving for x. We need to get rid of the negative 2 with the x. What is the negative 2 and the x doing together? They are multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we need to divide both sides by that negative 2. And when we bring a negative sign to our inequality party, right, when we multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, the inequality sign is going to flip around. So these negatives cancel out, these 2's cancel to a big old 1. So we're just left with 1x, or just x, is less than or equal to. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 12 divided by 2 is 6. X is less than or equal to 6, which is right here. And some of my students said that they were a little bit thrown off because of the notation here. But literally, you don't even need to worry about this if it's the same on all of them. If this is throwing you off, if these brackets and braces are throwing you off, just like pretend they're not there and just look for your match. X is less than or equal to 6. And if you're interested to know, last year on the Algebra Best test, 38% of students got this question correct. And if you want additional practice on questions like this in IXL, we found lesson 6TT to be very similar. So we can come back here, number 4. Number 5, we said x is less than or equal to 6. Next. And then question number 6. What is the sum of 2x cubed plus 4x and 3x cubed plus 5x? Sum means to add them up. And what are we doing here? Combining like terms again. So what is alike? What can be combined? Your 2x cubed and your 3x cubed can be combined to give us 2 and 3 makes 5. So you're out and you're out. And what is the rule when you're combining like terms? What happens to the variable? Do you add the exponents when you're finding the sum? Or does the exponent stay the same? Does the variables stay the same? What's the rule when you're finding the sum of polynomials? The rule is that the variable stays the same. That's why they have to be the same in order for you to add them. So this is our correct answer right here. 5x cubed. And I don't have to check the other part, but 4x plus 5x does equal to 9x. So we know we've got that right. And on the Algebra EOC, 49% of students got this question correct. And if you need practice on this in IXL, it is lesson 5EK. And that was answer choice C, 5x cubed plus 9x. And we're ready for question number 7. Which is a system of equations is shown. What is the solution to the system? We have 2 ways that we looked at this in class. One way to solve your system of equations is to think about what is the solution to a system of equations. The solution to a system of equations, and your solution to a system of equations is where the lines touch. That's your solution to a system of equations. And in Algebra 1, you are taught to solve a system of equations by graphing the 2 lines, by substitution, or by elimination. And because on this first linear equation, the y is already isolated, substitution would be the winner in an Algebra 1 class, because you would take this stuff that y is equal to, and you're going to plug it in to the y on the other equation. So we got 2x plus 5, and instead of this y, I'm putting this 2x plus 2 equals 19. And now we do algebra's greatest hits. We solve for x by combining like terms. And before we can get there, now we have a 5 outside of these parentheses, right? What do we call that when the 5's outside of the parentheses like that? That's the distributive property telling you to multiply that 5 by each little piece inside the parentheses. So let's do that. Bring down the 2x plus 5 times 2x is 10x, and then 5 times 2 plus 10 equals 19. Now find like terms. You are alike. You are alike. 2x and 10x makes 12x. I want to get this 10 over to the other side, so I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. So that'll cancel to 0. Equals 19 minus 10 is 9. And I want to get my x by itself, finish solving for x. So we can divide both sides by 12. The 12s will cancel, so that's just 1x, or x equals 9/12. And if you remember from third, fourth, fifth grade, when you're simplifying fractions, that 9/12, both of those numbers can be divided by a common factor, which would be 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we know that our x value has to be 3/4. And in our answer choices, x, y, we only have one answer that has a 3/4 for the x. So we know that this is the answer. And when we were in class, we also said there's another way that you could solve this, because if it's multiple choice and you have the calculator, let me just erase this out here. So you can use the calculator if you get a question like this as multiple choice by plugging in the answer options. So I want y, my y value here, right? All of these ordered pairs are x, y. I want y to be equal to 2x plus 2. So if I put in 2x, plus 2, and if I put in the x value, 3/4, I get 3.5, which this is true for equation 1. Equation 1, equation 2. This one works here. And if I try the next one, 1 1/8 for x, 1 1/8 for x, I get 4.25 for y. 4.25 does equal 4 1/4. So y equals 2x plus 2. This also works for equation number 2. For answer choice number 2. Equation 1 works for both answer choice A and B. But now, I'm not going to try them all because we already know the answer is A because we worked it out. I'm just showing you another method. If we try equation 2, 2x plus 5y, we know that we want it to be equal to 19 when I plug in our answer choices. So if we put in 3/4 for x and 3.5 for y, we do get 19 for answer choice A. That works. This ordered pair worked for both equations, so we know it's the answer. And this is where answer choice B does not work. For x, they have 1 1/8, and for y, they have 4 1/4. And you get 23.5, not 19. It does not work on the second equation. So that's how you can check a system of equations by using a calculator. And that's going to be it for this video. This question on the test last year, 41% of students got it right on their Algebra 1 EOC. And if you would like more practice on solving systems of equations where you can use the substitution method, on IXL, we found lesson HLV. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.